readers and shakers? It's your girl, Rhonda M. Lawson, sending you a personal invite to the Literary Lounge. Tune in to Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions each Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for the best in literary conversation. Each week, a different author will join us to talk to their most important readers, you. You can also call in to ask your own questions. So don't forget, each Wednesday at 7 p.m., join us in the lounge for Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. See you there. What's up, readers and shakers?
Happy Merry Mondays. It's your girl, Mary J. I want you to tune in with me to Real Talk with Mary J on New Orleans Talk Network every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Then follow me to blogtalkradio.com/Real Talk with Mary J at 10 p.m. It's going to be a Merry Monday every Monday at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. You've just tuned in to New Orleans Talk Network.
Of New Orleans, and actually men in general.
In general, that's right. In general.
Yes, and I like what you said. You know, it's time for men to take their rightful place in their families and in their communities.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think it's beautiful. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. This is going to be a very special and very, very interactive show. So go ahead and get your questions ready if you want to call in. The phone number is 504-341-8255, or you can just comment under the live on Facebook. If you go to the Meet the World Image Solutions Facebook page, you'll find the live stream. But if you're watching, that means you've already found it, which is great. Or you can go to Periscope under NOTN Talk. And then you can also find us on the Meet the World Image Solutions YouTube page. So we're in a whole bunch of different places, so there's no excuse why you can't be tuning in right now.
Well, that got me right there.
That was a lot, huh?
It was.
So let's talk about you first of all. You have a book called Man in the Hood. And I remember when we talked about it, you said a lot of people thought it was a play on the movie of Boys in the Hood, but that wasn't exactly the case.
Well, what I did was, you know, I never forget, I think it was back in 88 or 89 when I first saw the movie.
Yes.
I said, wow, this is deep. It took every negative image that it could of the African-American male and enlarged it, then exploited it, then plastered it in the minds of all of our young men. And as a result, you know, we just dropped the neighbor, now it's all about the hood. So what I did was I said, well, look, let me take that image since it's already there and let me put a different spin on it. So I came up with Man in the Hood. But the hood I'm talking about is not the neighborhood, the place.
Yes.
The hood I'm talking about would be consistent with the educational image. And once someone finishes school or finishes something particular in terms of what they're studying, then they graduate and they adorn themselves with all the regalia that goes with graduation, which would be the stole, the hood. Then, of course, you have the cap, and then you have the diploma in your hand that says that I am certified bona fide. I have completed whatever program that I'm supposed to do, and now I earn the right to move to the next level. And in this case, this would be now I have moved into the level of manhood.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes,
I mean, you know exactly what you're saying, and everything that you said goes with this book, because if you look at the cover of the book has these men in their hoods, in their regalia.
Exactly.
So everything that you're saying is reflected in this book cover, which is something that I truly love. I love it when
thank you.
your words and your actions match, because a lot of times we're not seeing that these days.
Exactly. And, and I said, well, when I took the book, I said, well, I want to make it, first of all, easy reading, where even our, least educated person could take the book and read it.
Yes.
Matter of fact, this book is just about in every penal institution there is.
And that's wonderful right there in of itself.
Yes, because I have a captive audience there, and then they have nothing on their plate but time. And so they can sit down, read the book, and understand the basic principles that go along with what we call manhood.
There we go. There we go. Now you're taking this a little step further, because I'm, in visiting your website, I was looking over your mission, and there are a lot of things that you're doing. You're doing coaching. You're doing bullying work or anti-bullying workshops.
Yes.
And all of that goes together with your theme of manhood.
Well, some years ago, back in 1995, that's when I started. Right after I finished. Actually, I did the Marine Corps, the Air Force, and the Army. So, I'm a military guy.
He's a triple veteran, y'all.
Right. Yes. And I always tell people, I served my country at large. Now it's time to come home and serve where the real problem is, in the community.
Yes.
And so what I decided to do was to take the military background that I have, along with the fundamental background I have from a traditional family background, couple that together, and then put a layer of education on top of it.
Yes.
Then socialization, then learn the political part of the arena of life, and then from there, that made what we call Truth Link 2150, and that's the organization that I'm the CEO of, and that's the one that launches out the image of Danna Andrus. You'll see him as Danna Andrus, then I become Dr. Truth. Then I become the deputy. Then I become the minister. Then I become just about any character there is. But if you're going to be a real man, you're going to have to play more than one role.
Right,
and so this is what we do.
Yeah, sometimes you have to be different things to different people in order to get the same message across.
Well, exactly. And if I can put on the clergy hat for a minute, the Apostle Paul said, I become all things to all people for the cause of Christ. And so I do know the one thing that our males are lacking, and more specific black males, but thank you for putting that tag in there. We're talking about men in general.
Yes.
Because this is not just a black thing. This is a gender thing that really has to move up to a certain level, because we have to, before we can get into our place, we have to first know what our place is.
Yes.
Then we look at how we fell from our place, so we can learn how to make conscious steps back to our place. And that's not easy, because as males, we just think that based on our ego, we're supposed to be at the top. But if you're at the top and you're not doing anything, then my suggestion is to come on back down until you learn.
I'm glad you said that. I met a young man a few years ago, and he had it in his mind that the woman that he meets has to submit to him.
Yeah.
And actually, in and of itself, there's nothing wrong with submission. The man should be the head of the household. I know I may lose some popularity points with some of my female. But my thing is, but I told him though, I said, I just met you. You haven't earned your right to say that you're going to be the head of my household. I don't know you. I don't know that I can trust you to do that just yet. So I can't just start this relationship and all of a sudden be subordinate to you if you've not shown me that you can take that place.
Well, actually, Rhonda, I couldn't have said it better. I did a workshop for one of the local churches out in New Orleans East, and I'll never forget, this man stood up in the workshop. He said, see, Mr. Andrus, your problem is that you just want to look good in front of all them women and stuff like that. And there must have had about 200 people in the audience telling these women everything that they want to hear and stuff like that and whatever. So I'll let him talk, and I'll let him talk, and I'll let him talk. Then finally finish. He said, oh, you don't have nothing to say, huh? I said, no. I'll say it just like this. When a man becomes a man, a woman won't mind being a woman. Let me say that again.
Come on now. Come on.
When a man becomes a man, a woman won't mind being a woman.
Exactly.
She's angry. She's disappointed. She's dismayed. She's overworked. She's overwhelmed. And as a result of what our women have to do and what our men have put our women through, that now and then just fell by the wayside. They have to do everything. Now we have women that are sugar and spice and nothing nice. So now if you want her to be that kind of person, then once again, you can't just speak yourself into that position.
Come on.
You have to work yourself into that position. My second marriage that I'm on, you know, and I thank God for my wife, Kendra, a beautiful woman.
She is beautiful.
Yeah, and she has 2 children, you know, and I never forget, you know, when I met her, you know, and I had the handicapped daughter and whatever, you know, she helped me with her. But, you know, when I met her, I said, look, I got a plan. I want us to get together and da-da-da-da. And she looking at me. Looking at me, you know. And I said, you act like I don't know what I'm talking about, you know. Then she looking at me, you know. And so then for a while there was a little tug of war there because I'm trying to figure, why won't she just listen? Now, I never use the word submit because we've taken that word as men out of context,
right?
You know, and we've made it sound something very demeaning and whatever. But when we submit to a person, that means you trust that person wholeheartedly that they're going to come through no matter what. That's a form of submit. Like I submit myself to you, you submit yourself to me. So when I lean to you and you lean to me, then we lean together and we become one. That's where the submission comes in at. But anyway, I told her, I said, you know, I got this covered, you know. But then with the friction for a little while, but then I recognized just what you said. She don't know me.
Right.
She don't know what I'm capable of doing. She don't know I came from a family of 12, 8 boys and 4 girls. She don't know that a man raised me. She don't know that. So what I have to do is shut up and begin to demonstrate, begin to show her, and begin to quietly do what I need to do as a man. And what will happen is she'll automatically fall in the role that she always wanted to be.
That's exactly right.
That's
That is so right. And I tell people all the time, I don't have a problem. I know people think because I've been single for a while and that, you know, I do a lot of things myself and I don't always ask for help. They're like, oh, she's just an independent woman. And, you know, and that's the other thing. They make independent woman sound like a bad thing.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and I mean, you know, and it's not independent to say, but I think what it is that if you had a choice of being dependent and independent, yes, of course you want to be independent. I'm raising our daughter. We have a 2-year-old to be independent.
Yes.
And then at some point when her time comes, she's going to look for a man who's independent. And together they become interdependent.
Yes.
So both them bring something to the table. But if she's independent and he's dependent, then you're missing a piece. He's going to always want, he's going to always beg, he's going to always need because he's not bringing anything to the table. Bring me a complete you, and I'll bring you a complete me. And the 2 complete parties together intertwine, and then we move into something great, and we do it together. Because I always say, when 2 people come together, the one who brings the least will always try to control a relationship. Let me say that again.
Oh my goodness.
My help about to come.
Oh my goodness. If y'all don't know, you better ask somebody.
Lord, I'm about to bring it.
Oh my goodness. If you are a woman who knows a man who needs to see this show, go ahead and tag them.
Yes.
Bring them into this conversation because this is about to get good. This is just the first 15 minutes.
That's right. And we ain't got started yet. Because I'm going to come out the coat in a minute now, but no. But you know what's interesting about it? And I always say, you know, we have boys out there that want to be men.
Yes.
More than we have men that want to teach them how to be men.
Oh,
now that's amazing because that little boy out there, when you see him standing around on the corner idle and just moving around aimlessly, he's saying, show me.
Yes.
Produce for me, direct me.
Yes.
And I always say, for a boy to be a man, he has to see a man. He can't be what he don't see.
Okay, now with that note, we're going to take a quick break because we need to cool it down just a little bit.
I feel my help coming.
But yes, go ahead, tag a friend, let them know about this show because this show is about to be awesome. We still have 45 minutes left.
Oh, no. Well, do you know how much damage I can do in 45 minutes?
Oh, my goodness. So call in 504-341-8255 or just comment under the live video and we will get your questions in. Stay right there. Don't move. Tag a friend. We will be right back.
Okay. Well, you about to get me started if I even get
you about to get me started.
Yes. You know, and this thing about, when that man said that, I said, wow. Boy, I mean, he cut up in front of those women, but I put him in check with that.
Good.
And after that one statement, He sat down.
We're back. Talk What You Know returns on Wednesday mornings at 8 a.m. We got a brand new co-host by the name of Bob B. And hey, that's me. Also, we got some new features. We're going to be giving away, have a weekly raffle of prizes. There are multiple ways for you to win, and there's a bevy of prizes. So we need you to come on back, join us on Wednesday mornings at 8 o'clock for Talk What You Know on the New Orleans Talk Network.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
Are you looking for a home to live stream your next event? Give us a call here at Bethesda Community Event Center, the only place on the Gulf Coast that can host and broadcast live your wedding reception, your baby shower, business seminar, and any other special event. Give us a call at 504-708-9454 for more details.
Franklin Avenue.
Oh, you do? Oh, not bad. Lower 9, they didn't mind that. That's my boy, though. So you go to church with Calvin.
Wait, which Calvin?
Calvin Mack.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's my boy.
Oh, okay. Oh, we're back on. We're playing.
Yeah. Let me take the glasses off.
Okay. So, if you are just joining us, we are talking to the great Dr. Danna Andrus, also known as Dr. Truth. So, I see why they call you Dr. Truth, because you don't mind telling the truth. No. But can you tell me the history of the name Dr. Truth?
Well, you know, I never forget when I was working at a residential facility in New Orleans back in the 80s, and for abandoned, abused children. And I'll never forget, you know, one day I got my pink slip. You know, it just came out of nowhere. I didn't know what a pink slip was. I said, wow, why? I said, you done telling me I'm out the door and you give me something pink. That doesn't match. But anyway, I left, you know, and what happened, they were downsizing, of course, I had to go. So I went to talk to a friend of mine. She was a social worker on St. Charles Avenue. She said, so Dana, what you gonna do? I said, give me a pad of paper and a pencil. And I put a line in the middle of the paper and I said, strengths, weaknesses. Strengths, run my mouth. After that, I put the pad down. I knew what I had to do because I knew what I was good at, running my mouth. And I always tell people, when you find out what you're supposed to do, stay in your lane, perfect your skill, know that it's going to take either 10 years or 10,000 hours. It's going to take one of them. That's to perfect it, to be good at it. Then when you get to that point, then nobody going to do what you do like you do it the way it's supposed to be done.
Come on now.
But you got to put the work in.
Yes.
And stick with one particular thing and perfect it. And you'll be surprised how he said, all things shall be added unto you. It's going to come. Don't worry about the money. The money is already there. It's invisible. You start working and the money comes into visibility. But that's another whole subject by itself. But then I took the paper and I put on the paper, I said, you know, I need to get out here and tell the truth. And that's where it was born. The right understanding toward health, happiness, and healing.
Okay.
The right understanding toward health, happiness, and healing. And with that, people said, boy, you're doing some healing, man. You must be a doctor. Now, I only had a master's degree at the time and just got that. But you see how that thing was spoke into my life and whatever? And then, because I said, if you're a doctor, you need to be healing. If you're not healing, don't call yourself a doctor. If you got a song to sing, you're supposed to sing it. If you got a prayer, pray it. If you got a sermon, preach it. But the bottom line, whatever you do, do it to the glory and honor of God. And when I started doing that, then that's when Dr. Truth was born. And I never forget, a lady told me, but you got to stop calling yourself a doctor and whatever, you know. But 6 months after that, there came the first doctorate degree. The first one came in divinity, and then I had the most recent one, a doctorate of literature.
Come on.
So I have both of those. And then I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist with the state of Louisiana. So I get to see all the problems, all the issues, you know, one-on-one.
Yes.
And what I'm finding, everything boils down to relationships. And in relationships, Once the father image is no longer there, it puts pressure on the rest of the relationship, and as a result, you see a lot of demise. Simply, all you gotta do is remove one domino, then everything else falls apart. Because when that man is present, the boy learns to be a man. When that man is present and he's dealing and working with appropriately with the female counterpart, his wife, then the daughter grows up to see how a relationship's supposed to be. But let me share this with you right quick. I spoke with a group last night. This was all males.
Okay.
And I told them, of course, I talked to them about the Real Men's Conference, but we'll talk about that later. And I told them, I said, now listen, how many of y'all have daughters? They raise their hands, you know, everybody like hip hop with their head all down, you know, proud and stuff like that, goals and all that stuff in their mouth, you know, blinging and whatever, you know. I said, now let me ask you this. How many of you all in this audience, you fellas, would you want your daughter to marry a man like you? And they just look at me, heads went down and everything. See, my daughter, my 2-year-old daughter, is the most precious thing I have. I have to present myself appropriately in front of her at all times. And the best way I can do that is to show genuine, profound respect for her mother. Then she'll grow up knowing that it's okay for a man and woman to be together, to really love each other. And as a result, that's the beginning of the whole thing.
Okay, now what happens, because we hear that a lot, but then you'll have these young people who grow up without a father in the household.
Correct.
So what happens with them? They don't have that man in the household who's going to show them what it's like to be a man, or that man who's going to show them what a respectful relationship looks like. So what do we do in those cases?
Well, and the problem with that is that we don't see it as a problem. And it's happened so often and it's been going on so long that we think that that's the way it actually is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Because when that male is no longer in the home, and the mom is doing everything, breadwinner, homemaker, everything in between, and hardly have time for herself, what they call me time, then if the mama is buying the boy the shoes, if the mama is paying the bills, stay with me, if the mama is taking care of business, then that boy, and there's no man around to interrupt that process or to show that he's at least participating in it, then that boy grows up to believe that a woman's supposed to take care of him. That's how his psyche gets damaged. So now he grows up not looking to be a strong male in a relationship because he don't know what that is. He don't have a file on that. So therefore, what he becomes, that's what he looks for. Just like his mama took care of business, he looking for a woman to continue to take care of business. And as a result, it becomes an issue. Now, when he sees a man like me, somebody who's strong, driven as a man and whatever, then of course, we're going to combat.
Right.
Because he's not used to that. He hasn't seen that. But I submit to you and I submit to him that there is a spiritual pull between the two because we are the same gender. And there's something in that boy that tells him he's supposed to be royalty. He's supposed to be the master of the universe. It's in him. But I tell him before you can master anything out here, you have to first master yourself.
But now how do we as a community get through to these young men and these young women who don't have a father in the household?
And that's where the concern comes in. That's where the problem comes in, because we have to start recognizing, number one, that there is a problem. But here's the key. But if you have a significant amount of the public or the community does not see it as a problem, then that's a problem in itself.
Yes.
And what has happened is that the males today have reached the point where their worst enemy, believe it or not, has become their female counterpart. And that's where the bigger problem comes in at.
Yes.
Because instead of us cooperating with each other, instead of us complimenting one another, we find ourselves competing with each other. Well, I have a master's degree. I got a doctorate degree. But in the real world, those other cultures, they don't think and operate the way we do. So your doctorate degree will only be as good as you are over me. Or my master's or my doctorate degree will only be as good as I am over you. So whatever we get, we tend to go into conflict with one another. First of all, we have to stop the conflict and recognize that we all need some healing.
So what we're actually doing many times is then equating leadership with who has the most money or who has the most degrees.
Exactly. Within us. Now, here's what I tell a lot of our males. There was a time, like when I came through the ranks, that relationships, there was a cookie cutter style of doing it. It was one style fit everybody. But just like we live in a diverse society, a diverse community, then that means there's going to be diversity in relationships. There are going to be males now who have grown up without men who actually depend on the woman to be the breadwinner. And guess what? That's going to have to be okay. There are going to be a lot of females who have grown up watching their mothers be the strength of everything. So what are they supposed to do? Put that strength down simply because they met a man?
Right.
If the strength is in them, they have a file in their head on a woman being strong, that woman being dominated, a woman taking care of business. Because the old saying is, she goes, if I got to do bad, I'll do bad by myself.
That's what they say.
So when you have a woman strong like that, she is not going to position herself where she's going to lose that strength. So what she will do is partner with somebody, a man, who has equal strength, and together they build something.
Amen.
It's not going to be anything easy, Rhonda. I'm going to tell you right now.
You're right.
It's
not going to be
difficult.
easy. I mean, because women are used to doing it by themselves.
Right.
And then you do have some men who may not bring anything to the table, who are just trying to assert themselves, and they're not really seeing what the woman is doing, or they're looking at what the woman is not doing.
Exactly.
And so next thing you know, there's always going to be those clashing heads.
And see, the first thing we have to realize is that before in other words, when I go into a relationship, when I met my wife, Kendra, wonderful woman. Gotta plug that in. Love you, dear. When I met Kendra, I recognized something. I went to Thanksgiving dinner at her house with her family. Her mother was at the head of the table. 90% of what was in that room was females. And even the younger males that were there, her grandchildren, everybody was basically moving toward or drawing energy from Ms. Ida, her mother.
Yes.
So I said, okay, now I'm going to have to think. Because in my family, my daddy was the head. And he taught us how to be men. We're at a dinner and whatever, everybody would be drawing strength from my daddy, which is the man. Even my sisters. That's why a lot of them had problems coming through the ranks, because they kept looking for a man like my daddy. And that kind of man doesn't really exist in a lot of areas. Well, the point I realize is that Kendra comes from a matriarchal family. I come from a patriarchal family, which means a woman runs everything in that circle, and I came from a family where a man runs everything in the circle. Would that be a clash? Oh, yes, it would. But because I was conscious of it, and because she became conscious of it, we began to both work together to realize that, okay, we both are strong.
Yes.
We were taught by strong sexes. So as a result, let's bring our strength together and see what we can form together. And today she has her herbal and facial program. She operates her own daycare centers. So she's a leader in her own right. But you don't relinquish that because you get married. No. You take it and you put it in perspective and use it where it works. For me, that's all I ever did was led, from the military, every institution there is. So I didn't put mine aside. What I did was created TruthLink, created Center and Truth Ministries, created the deputy program. So what I'm saying is that take your strengths and use it to build the relationship together and not fight against one another.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. Well, we have to take another quick break.
Oh.
I know. Every time it gets good.
My help was getting okay. Gotcha. Okay,
so when we get back, we're going to talk a little bit more about the mission of TruthLink, and then we're going to get into that Real Men Conference that you're planning for June 9th.
Oh man, that's the thing, gentlemen. Let me tell you something. This is Mother's Day coming up. You want to give that mother or your baby's mama and your mother the best Mother's Day present you can get them is getting you a ticket to the Real Men's Conference.
There you go.
Now, that's how you do that. In other words, show them that here's the flowers for you, but look, I'm going to this conference that Dr. Truth is giving, and I'm going to learn what it talks about manhood.
All right. Well, we're going to talk more about that when we get back. Don't forget, you can either call in 504-341-8255 or just comment under the live show, and then we will get your questions and your comments in. Stay right there. Be right back.
Very good.
Thank you.
So how that sound? That kind of rolled pretty well?
I think think so.
Yeah. That's from. No, wait, I lost those names that you was pulling on here.
What's up, readers and shakers? It's your girl, Rhonda M. Lawson, sending you a personal invite to the Literary Lounge. Tune in to Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions each Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for the best in literary conversation. Each week, a different author will join us to talk to their most important readers, you. You can also call in to ask your own questions. So don't forget, each Wednesday at 7 p.m., join us in the lounge for Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. See you there.
Happy Merry Mondays. It's your girl, Mary J. I want you to tune in with me to Real Talk with Mary J on New Orleans Talk Network every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Then follow me to blogtalkradio.com/Real Talk with Mary J at 10 p.m. It's going to be a Merry Monday every Monday at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. You've just tuned into New Orleans Talk Network.
Here at Jones Insurance, your full-service agency, let us take care of all your insurance needs. We provide homeowners insurance, flood, rental, commercial, auto, and life insurance. Don't let the unexpected tragedy destroy your family's future. Here at Jones Insurance, 7603 West Bank Expressway, Monroe, Louisiana, 772. Contact Lois at 504-348-1492.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
To be so busy.
I know she's always busy. Both of us are so bad.
No.
Okay, we're back.
Why don't you marry me?
Because he ain't asked yet, I guess. I used to be.
Yeah, okay, I'll go with that then. Okay.
Yeah.
You seem like your perfect marriage material.
Well, thank you. And we're back.
We're back.
This is your girl, Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson, and I am with Dr. Truth, Dr. Danna Andrus, who is the CEO of TruthLink 2150.
That's me.
Well, all right.
That's what we do.
Let's talk a little bit about TruthLink and what TruthLink is all about.
Well, TruthLink is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Like I said, it was born through losing something to gain something.
Yes.
You know, sometimes we don't, you never know how spirit is going to work. You know, I never thought that I would be without anything because I knew that, you know, like my daddy said, you know, the righteous has not been forsaken and his seed don't beg any bread. And as a result, TruthLink was born and a group of people, they followed me and then we just began to go around to schools and stuff and start talking to the children. Then next thing you know, we end up in churches, then communities. And so now that I'm a part of the John Maxwell team who wrote the 21 Habits of
highly successful people.
Exactly.
Highly successful people.
Right, yes, I'm a part of his team now, so I'll go around and I can speak on that and on teamwork and all the rest of his books. Okay. So that was good. And then also Stephen Covey, The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. I had the privilege of authoring a book with him. Speaking of success, so, you know, I really have taken off, but my main thing is that wherever I can get an audience, I love to run my mouth. Schoolhouse, hen house, church house, doghouse, outhouse, jailhouse.
Not in the
church
outhouse.
Doesn't matter. Just bring me somewhere. Let me talk. Because this is my gift, you know. And so, and as a result, TruthLink has been around for a while now. We've been working with people, under people like the great Stanley Schofield. That's the one who really launched me off, and I just want to say thank you to him. And then, of course, O.T. Oliver Thomas, who's actually, he's going to MC the Real Men's Conference. That's on the 9th and whatever. He's one of my mentors. And then, of course, one of your church members, Mr. Calvin Mackey. Now, he's younger than me, but he has really poured a lot into what it is that I do, and I will always tell him thank you. And then everybody else who has made what it is that we do. People call in, we need somebody to do something on stress management, somebody who can talk on cultural diversity, somebody who can talk on some of the more pressing issues like school violence and sexual harassment. Tell us what you want, and we'll create a program around it, and we'll present it to you. That's what
That is awesome.
Thank
and
you.
so you're doing anti-bullying,
Yes.
and then you also do some coaching.
Coaching. And like people always say, Dr. Andrus, what I can do to get my life together and whatever. Because you see, my friend, once you start that, that's when I have to stop. Your friend is doing what your friend is supposed to do. This is not a cookie cutter thing.
Yes.
So as a coach, what I do is use my therapeutic skills also, and I sit down and I let you talk for about a good 30 minutes. And during that 30 minutes, I can pretty much tell you which direction you're going in, what you're saying to me, what you're not saying to me, because it's what you're not saying to me, that's pretty much where your gift lies.
Yes.
And what I do is help tailor a program that'll get you where you need to be.
I like that. I might need to come talk to you myself.
Come on down.
Okay.
Come on down.
So you touched a bit on the Real Men Conference, which will be taking place at Tremaine Market Branch on June 9th at 10 a.m.
10 to 2, 10 a.m. to 2, and I mean, it's a lineup. I mean, if the boy's going to be a man, he has to see a man. And by the way, females are invited also. That's right, we're not discriminating.
Yes.
Because when you talk about manhood, it's hard to talk about manhood and not talk about womanhood.
Yes.
Because that's the flip side of the coin. We're intertwined. Even the Bible said, male and female made he them. So therefore, you know, we need our females to come in and give us some input, give us some feedback.
Yes.
Because sometimes as men, remember, we're from Mars, you're from Venus, so from Mars we only see one perspective, and the woman sees a different perspective.
Sometimes we see a few different perspectives.
Well, okay, all right, a whole bunch of perspectives, you know, because as men, we compartmentalize everything, whereas a woman, they tend to see the whole picture. And I always tell a man, since the Bible said the woman came out of the man, then you wonder why she always know what you're doing before you're going to do it.
There you
she
go.
came out of you, so she know you from inside out.
It's interesting though, because when I talk to people about submission, I always let them know that, you know, it doesn't mean that the woman cannot be a leader, or the woman cannot take part unless she can't help her man, because you'll see very many different instances in the Bible where the woman did have to step up.
Yes.
I mean, for instance, Moses' wife Zipporah. I mean,
Yes.
God was about to kill Moses because he had not listened to what he was
right.
supposed to do.
Yeah.
Zipporah was the one who came in and did what she was supposed to do, and she actually saved Moses' life.
That's right. And I mean, you have Ruth, you have Naomi,
Yes.
you have Dorcas. I mean, you have so many women that have played not just roles in the Bible, but leading roles. Even Mary
Yes.
played the lead. She played her role all the way to the very
Amen.
end.
And let's not forget Deborah.
That's what I'm saying. You got. I mean, and what happens is that we tend to look at the Bible selectively
Yes.
to kind of like, you know, cater to our own gender. But like I said, God is a God for everybody. And at the Real Men's Conference, when we get together, we really want to look at what it's going to take to work with the composite man. And that's why we brought all these different speakers together who's going to touch on the different areas.
So let's talk about these different men. Of course, you already mentioned Oliver O.T. Thomas,
O.T..
who is he's the host of the Good Morning Show on WBOK
that's
here in
right.
New Orleans. And then we have Mr. Ed Marshall, who's the National Success Coach. He's going to be talking about financial matters.
He is a financial guru. I
Okay.
heard Ed talk one time and I went like this. Because he's so polished.
Yes.
And he speaks in such a way that, you know, you're looking at, and he dresses debonair. So I want our boys in the audience to see different styles of men.
Yes.
You know, you're not going to have nobody with their pants hanging off and wearing tennis shoes, so we're not doing none of that. But we're coming there dressed in such a way that we want to show them something different from what they see every day. Because believe it or not, as quiet as it's kept, we have more men doing the right thing than we have doing the wrong
I
thing.
very much believe that, but unfortunately, the men who do the right thing are not good news.
Exactly. It's not newsworthy.
Yes,
it's not
they're not gonna
sensational.
talk about that.
So it's left up to us in the community, males and females alike, to promote the good of what it is that we do. But Ed Marshall, he can tell you how to take that dollar and work it 3 ways. 33% you save.
See, that's why I need to be there, because I need to hear that.
33%. For 33% you spend, 33% you save, and 33% you leverage for an investment in the future.
Amen.
Ed gonna talk about that. He good.
Okay, now we also have Bishop Tom Watson from the Watson Memorial Teaching Ministries over on St. Claude Avenue. St. Charles Avenue.
About to say, for him to get to St. Charles Avenue, the silk stocking area, put a church up there, you better go listen to him.
Come
so
on
that
now.
means he knows something that we don't know. And one thing about Tom Watson, he don't mind sharing it. He and I go back a ways and stuff like that. And I've always admired what he does with his male group. It's another male that's not even on our card who I was trying to get, but he's going to be out of town, and that's my mentor, Pastor Barrier from Household of Faith. Pastor Barrier, I mean, small in stature, but this man is mighty in spirit. And I mean, we're going to have some, but Tom, you better come out there and listen to him. He have a word from on high.
For those of you who are not in New Orleans and don't know much about the city, St. Charles Avenue is the place where the giant mansions are. Those are where our upper crust live, our old money people live.
Yes.
So you'll have mansions, you have 2 major universities on that street.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, so if you live on St. Charles Avenue, or if you have a business on St. Charles Avenue, you're doing something.
Exactly.
So
the streetcar runs through there and whatever, you know, it's what they call the silk stocking area. And Pastor Tom Watson figured out a way to get Watson Memorial right there in the heart of it. I love him for it.
Yes.
So we want to hear a word from him, and he will be there he will be there at the men's conference on the 9th.
And then we also going to have musical entertainment.
That's right. That's right.
So we have Collage 3 and a New Creation.
Now, both of them, I haven't heard them, but from what I understand, that's the talk.
Yes.
They said for people who love the contemporary style and whatever, you know, because see, I want our young men to understand everything is not about cursing and brothers put down a sound that's melodious, but they also put down a sound that's very entertaining. So you may want to come out there and see them, and also bring your calendar because you can book them right on the spot.
Well, there you go.
They're good to go.
Now, this isn't all about motivational speeches and music. There's also going to be some food.
Yummy. Yes, indeed. I mean, Chef, how you say his name again?
Jay Lewis.
Chef Jay Lewis, and I mean, he came when we was first putting this together, if you remember, and he brought us samples of some of his cuisine, and I'm gonna tell you, my wife can cook. That's the first time I found somebody that can go close to where she is. So,
now, see, that's saying a lot
that's
now.
Right. He gets high marks for this. So you need to come out because we have some Cajun food, and then of course we have our red beans and rice, which we love so much.
Yes.
So you may want to come out and sample this. Now, people, that be talking $50 a ticket. For the words you're going to get, the entertainment you're going to get, the food that you're going to get, and then we have something else special that's not even on the card, but just come on out there, you'll see.
That means there's a surprise coming.
That's right, that's right, that's right, that's right.
So this is how it works. This is called the Real Men Conference, but it's not just for men. Women are invited to this conference as well. Too. And you are also inviting men to bring their sons.
Bring your sons, not just bring your son, but I would ask a man to stretch it even further. Bring your son and that little kid that you see sitting out there who really need to be there or want to be there, who would enjoy seeing something different, but they don't have the finance and whatever, you know. Extend yourself. He said, when you do it unto the least, you've already done it unto me. So in other words, we're talking 50 for you, 50 for your son, 50 for that boy. That's $150. Come on, we blow that on lottery tickets. I mean, come on and hit the...
I don't. That's too much money.
Anyway, well, come on and hit the trifecta on the 9th.
There you go.
At the Real Men's Conference, and then I think we have one more person on that card.
Well, that's all I have on here.
No, he came in late. His name is Dr. Jeremy Blunt.
Okay.
Now, he's from Baton Rouge. Now, that's my main man. Dr. Blunt, I met him as Corporal Blunt from the, not the National Guard, from the Youth Challenge Program out of Carville, Louisiana. And I have been impressed with this brother ever since. Well, since then, he's received his master's degree, his doctorate degree, and he puts on one of the most male-female relationship family building programs I've ever seen. Now, he has something that's upcoming later on, and I'm gonna get with that later on, but you gotta hear Dr. Blunt. He's gonna talk about family and relationships. And then, of course, to sum it all up, you will hear the truth, the whole truth.
And nothing
but
the
Dr.
truth.
Truth. That's me. You know, so but we're going to do a demonstration that everybody's going to enjoy, because I do know in our audience, we have people that are audio, They want to hear a word. Some people want to see a word, but then there's also people who want to go a step further and see that word demonstrated in action.
Yes.
So we're going to do all of that.
So you mean after people eat, they're actually going to be able to go into action?
They're going to go into action. We're going to have some of those little them boys get up. It's a secret.
Oh, it's a secret, y'all. Y'all just going to have to come and see what's going on.
You have to come and see.
Yeah, we can't just tell y'all everything.
Yeah, but you got to come and see. That's going to be the best investment that you've made in a long time. Tickets are $50. You can get them from Eventbrite, or you can call Miss Cinda Miller at.
You can call Miss Cinda Miller at 1-877-376-2233.
Or you can call Dr. Truth. I'm at 504-416-5256. And I mean, we have it. Else you can catch my friend DK Smith at WYLD. He'll know how to get the tickets to you and everything. So we need you in the house.
Yes.
Again, the best thing you can do for Mother's Day is to show her that I'm on the road, on track to get my manhood together. And I'm going to that conference, and we're gonna make that thing happen.
Okay, now I have a question. Oh, it looks like we have a caller. I'm gonna ask my question in a minute.
Please.
We're gonna go ahead and let this caller ask this question. So, caller.
Hey, Dr. Andrus, how you doing?
Hey, now, how you doing?
This is Heather from Monroe, Louisiana.
Hey, Heather.
Monroe. Hey, girl.
What's going on?
How you doing?
I'm doing well, my friend. How's everything?
Wonderful, wonderful.
So glad you called in.
Well, I'm going to be encouraging your brother to take his son down there.
Yeah, please do.
I'll be tied up, but I will definitely let him know.
And please do. And look, if for some reason we filled up, I will make a seat for him. You know what I'm saying? I'll make a seat for him. Thank you. But I'm so glad you called in, sister. You been all right?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
But thank you so much for calling in, Heather.
All right. God bless you. I can't wait to hear all the reviews, all the testimonies, and everything that's going to come from that, because I know how you are, man of God.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate you.
All right.
Be blessed.
Amen. Amen. It's always good, and there are people who are going to come out because they believe in you and they know what you're about.
Yes.
And I think that's a big thing.
I always told the Lord, and I told my wife especially, I said, Lord, keep me humble. Because, at a time, we tend to forget that we doing it and we didn't put God on the side, but God has to be first in my life. First and foremost, Rhonda, because without God, I can do nothing. With God, I'm going to fail. Like they say, just like a ship without a sail.
Yes.
So I thank God for, just leading me and guiding me. And I'm just so excited. I can't wait till the 9th. Sometimes I get a little discouraged when I look at the situation out there and whatever. But then, I always go back to that verse in the Bible and say, what is man that thou art so mindful of? So if man is the mind of God and woman is the heart of God,
yes,
then together God is awesome.
That's a wonderful way to look at it. I mean, and you're right. The mind of God and the heart of God, then that means that people are looking at God whenever we look at each other.
Thank you. I mean, you somehow you done got right in. When that kid looks at their parents, that man that stood in front of him, that stand in front of him, who brought him into the world, who planted the seed, that becomes God to that kid.
Yes.
Until that child can know God for himself. So that's some heavy shoes as men we have to fill.
Yes.
So we have to go back and start looking at where we messed up so we can come together and start fixing it up. Now, I made up in my mind, Rhonda, I'm never arguing with another man in my life again, never. Because that's our problem. We have to stop arguing, put our egos aside and whatever. Doesn't matter who's in charge. Let's just get something done. Oh, and by the way, I got some good folk coming out of Reserve and Lutcher, Louisiana, Bethlehem Baptist Church.
Okay.
Boy, you wait till that pass and them folk get there. I mean, it's going to be some people in the house.
You got me excited about going.
Yeah, you got to come on in there. You got to come on in. I got people calling me, Dr. True, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? I said, oh, my God, now I got to be like Moses. Got to organize. Yes, indeed.
But now I want to ask you this, because there's probably a young man who's watching this who's saying, I don't need to go there. I already got it all together. And I got money, I got a good marriage, everything's good. Why do I need to go to this?
And my response to him is that even if you don't need to go, you know somebody that need to go. Somebody you may not be able to reach. That may be somebody that I can reach. So love him enough to want him to be reached. So I tell you, not just send him, but bring him.
Yes.
Show him that you love him enough that you want him to be a strong man just like you, and then you bring him, and you'll be surprised how you'll be encouraged yourself.
And the other thing I look at is that if you do have it all together, why not go there so the people who may not have it all together can see?
That's my point.
Yes.
I'm getting at. I mean, look, when
you could be a blessing to somebody else.
Boys learn through observation, girls learn through communication. Let me say it again. Boys learn through observation. You don't have to tell a boy anything. He's going to look, he's going to observe. When he looks at that female who becomes his counterpart, he's already sized her up A to Z because he's observing. So what she want to do is make sure that she puts herself where she need to be so she could be found at the right time, because the Bible says he who findeth a wife
finds a good thing.
Now, I know I got favor, so somebody trying to call and look like
yes, we have another caller. Caller, who's this?
Who is this?
Hi.
Yes, this is Dr. Andrus.
No, okay, which Dr. Andrus is it?
Danna's brother.
Okay, that's Jesse Andrus.
Yes, Dr. Jesse Andrus.
That's Dr. Jesse Andrus from Maryland. Now listen, this is the Real Men's
Conference. Dr. Jesse Andrus.
Right, this Real Men's Conference. The next one that's coming up is the Real Men's Conference returns. That's going to be the keynote speaker, Dr. Jesse Andrus, all the way from Maryland. And listen, you talking about somebody that could sing, somebody that could pray, and somebody that could preach. That's my role model. That's my oldest brother, Jesse Andrus.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for calling in, Dr. Andrus.
How you doing, my brother? God bless you all.
Thank you.
We're actually on vacation in Williamsburg, Virginia, with my wife and I, and we're just sitting there listening to you all. And we really, really praise God for what your ministry is doing, my brother. And I tell you, it takes a man to be a man.
Thank you, big brother.
You know, we definitely saw a man, our dad, Jesse Sr.
Yeah.
So I really thank God for you. In fact, I was telling my wife I'm going to send some money in to actually sponsor a young man. Whoever you want to sponsor, that would be fine with me.
I appreciate it, big brother. That's what I love about you. Lead by example.
That is awesome.
Says. Thank you, big brother. Y'all enjoy yourself. Be safe.
I love you.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
Now, that's a wonderful idea. There may be somebody out there who maybe they're going to be out of town, or maybe they just won't be in the area and they can't attend. Why not sponsor a young man so somebody else can get this blessing? You
know, we have group homes, we have detention centers and things like that, and you know they'll let the boys come, but a lot of times through politics or whatever, they may not be able to have the funds to disperse like that. But I believe that every man who God has blessed, and I know we are blessed people, especially if we say we love the Lord. Now it's time for us to show how much we love the Lord by extending and helping our brother. Yes. So like you say, you buy a ticket, but then like my big brother there, just spend one on another somebody, a less deserving person, and you'll be surprised how that blessing gonna come back to you. Good measures, pressed down, shaking it.
Amen. Amen. See, you about to start making some noise up in here now. We only have 5 minutes left in this interview.
Ooh, boy, 5 minutes left? Boy, time flies when you're having fun.
It really does. It really does. So, we've talked about so much. We talked about what it means to be a real man. We talked about TruthLink 2150. We talked about the Real Men Conference. What else did we talk about? The relationship between a man and a woman.
Yes.
What are those final thoughts that you want people to think about as we get ready to end the show and they go on about their week? What do you want people to remember?
When we talk about manhood, recognize that even how we say it, the content may differ, but the process remains the same.
Yes.
What it takes to be a man will never change. Now, what man looks like today, it has changed, the concept.
Yeah.
But the process, the principles that are embedded in a man, hard work, tenacity, get out there, discipline, trust, fall down, get up, those kind of things are consistent with manhood. And these are the things that we want to bring back and we want to revive. Now, this is a conference, but it's part of the Real Man movement.
Yes.
So this is not going to just stop on the 9th. That's just starting. But each year we're going to bring this back around. Like Pastor Jesse Andrus will be here next year. Then we'll have year after that, manhood, the next generation.
Yes.
So we're going to have a different name and different title. And now just like what men look like have changed, we're going to have to start making some adjustments to accommodate everybody. Because I had another young man ask me, he said, well, Dr. Andrus, can I come? I said, whosoever will.
Let them come.
Let them come. Because we love the Lord. God is no respecter of person. We want everybody to know that we love the Lord, and as real men, we are ready to stand up and do what's necessary.
Amen, amen, amen. So let's remind everybody, because we just have a few minutes left. This is the Real Men Conference. You can see the flyer right in the corner up here. There we go. It's right there.
There you go.
It's the Real Men Conference. We will have Oliver O.T. Thomas. We'll have Ed Marshall. We have Bishop Tom Watson. We'll have Collage 3. We'll have New Creation. We have, what was the other person?
Dr. Jeremy Blunt from Baton Rouge.
Yes. And we will have a gourmet meal by none other than New Orleans chef Jay Lewis.
And we'll have vendors available also now.
Come on.
There are going to be some vendors there and whatever, you know. So, I mean, you know, we want to show you that, you know, now our women folk are way ahead of us when it comes to organizing and putting things together. But we want to show them that, you know, we trying to catch up. We trying to catch up. And so we want to make this thing real spectacular and whatever. Now, my wife also, Miss Kendra Andrews, she's going to be out there with her health and beauty. She got stuff for men too now.
I'm about to say, because soft skin is not just for women.
That's right.
Because we every once in a while want to touch your face and it not feel rough.
That's right. That's right.
So
that's right.
Go ahead and get your scrub, get your skin nice and shiny and soft. Your wife will love you for it.
Very good, very good. And listen, and like I said, I'll see you in the house on the 9th. Once again, that is the 9th of June. Listen, we're talking about a month away. So you're going to be seeing all kind of flyers, all kind of programs. You're going to get sick of seeing Dr. Truth. But understand something. Dr. Truth is there because this is what God has called me to do, because the Spirit of the Lord is upon me. And he has anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor, to heal the brokenhearted, to give sight to the blind, to set the captive free.
Amen.
For this is the acceptable year of the Lord.
He is really trying to get me to make some noise up in here. You know, I didn't get a chance to go to revival tonight, and I feel like I'm getting revived right now. See?
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Yes, indeed.
But that's all we have for this episode of Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. I want to thank our fiery guest,
thank you, ma'am.
Dr. Danna Andrus.
My pleasure, my pleasure, my pleasure.
Yes, thank you so much for being
Truly
here.
a
This
pleasure.
was a great show.
It really was. It really was.
Yeah. So don't forget, get your tickets for the Real Men Conference. And then also, if you are looking for someone to help you to write your book, or maybe you've written a book and you're needing an editor, or maybe you need to get it publicized, don't forget to contact Meet the World Image Solutions. We have a package that is just for you. Let's hold a conversation. Let's talk about it. And let's get you out there, because you definitely have a story to tell, and I want to be able to help you to tell that story. So that's all we have.
Thank you, ma'am.
Man, I can't believe it. We have a few seconds left, so you can maybe give them one more thing to think about.
And that phone call, that's that phone call. Now, if you want to get in touch with Dr. Truth himself, I'm at 504-416-5256. 504-416-5256. We putting it on, we putting it down on the 9th of June. You have to be in the house.
Remind them how to get the tickets.
And get the tickets through Eventbrite.
Yes.
Pull up Real Men's Conference. And it'll tell you what to do from there, or you can call me, or you can call Miss Cinda Miller at
877-376-2233.
And with that, we say we love you, we thank you, and may the light of God surround you, the love of God enfold you. The power of God will protect you, for wherever you are, God is, and we are all safe and secure. Be blessed.
And with that note, I think that we are done. And that is going to be the last word of this week. All right, so I just real quick just want to send a nice shout out to all of the graduates. My own nephew will be graduating from Fairfield University on
Congratulations.
and then my daughter will be graduating from St. Mary's Academy next week.
Oh, bless her heart.
Yes.
And I got a nephew that's graduating from the military school in Algiers.
Come on.
But I don't even want to get started because my family's too huge. They can say, why you didn't say that? God bless all of you all. Keep learning, keep earning.
All right, and thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to come back next week. We're going to have another great guest for you. It's a good show. What's up, readers and shakers? It's your girl, Rhonda M. Lawson, sending you a personal invite to the Literary Lounge. Tune in to Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions each Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for the best in literary conversation.